Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to be using an oldie but goodie. This is probably one of the first sketches I ever used from Operation Right Home, and I love that it's just so simple to use, and you can use it with any pattern paper, Christmas, holiday, and what we're going to do now. So I already have everything pre-cut, and we're doing an A2 size card, and I've cut a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of paper because the cardstock that I'm using is, I want to say it's an 80 pound, because it's not as heavy as the Nina 110. So with all the layerings that we're going to be doing on top, as I've told you guys before, I definitely like putting a piece of paper on the inside of the card as well. So that's what I'm getting ready to do here. And it creates a nice border, making it the 4 by 5 1/4. And then there's still plenty of room for any writings and stuff like that. And I had a little smudge, some smudges from my hands, so I'm just using my eraser just to make sure everything is clean on the inside. All right. So once that's done, we're going to start working on the stamping for this card. And I just put my little jewel dangler into my wet glue. I just got it, and I love it because it's so much easier to find when you take it out instead of the small little pins. I lose those all the time. So I'm bringing out the Misty tool, and yes, I'm using the same stamp again. I'm telling you, it's probably one of my favorites, and I use it every fall season. It's on my end card from a card that I made using it. So, okay, I really love it. So this time I decided to go a little bit darker in the color, and we're using chipped sapphire. Okay, and so I'm going to ink up that, I guess it would be the first stamp or the coloring part of the stamp. And once I have my paper lined up, I'm going to press down. And you can use, I know I've seen people use Swiffer cloths to help just give a little bit extra push. Sometimes you can use your sleeve of your shirt if it's long enough. I'll also use the fiber cloth at times. The one thing about this, I'm showing you the chip sapphire, really pretty color. The one thing I like about the stamp is it's meant to be a little distressed, like it's not a solid color. Okay, so don't get freaked out if you by chance get this. And it's a Concord and Ninth stamp set. And then we're going to ink up the leaf in Versaclair. And Versaclair is very much like the VersaFine. They got similar qualities because they stay wet a little bit longer, so you could always heat emboss if you wanted to heat emboss. But on clear stamps especially, you just get a really crisp black line, especially when the stamps are seasoned, like when it's brand new. It may take a couple of stamps because it's a brand new stamp and you have to what they call condition it. But yeah, I love it. It's my go-to for anything I stamp in black, really. All right, so now we're going to start putting everything together, and we're going to get this build up. So I got my pattern paper cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And it's going to go onto this brown matte paper, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So you get an 1/8 of an inch border. Now, I did have a little hiccup here, okay? When I went to put this on, it was a little bit too long, like I needed to trim some. So I trimmed like an 1/8 of an inch, and it was too much. So instead of trying to cut a whole nother piece of paper and starting over, I'm like, okay, we're gonna make it work. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's gonna be maybe a little bit longer as far as the matte piece on one side. it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and keep on going. Because sometimes that happens. You know, you look at it, you measure it, you think you got, you know, everything right. And then when you so called fix it, it sometimes just makes a problem. But it ain't going to bother me today. So now for the next layer, and that's one of the things I like about Operation Right Home. If you go into Pinterest and type in that name, their sketches will pop up, and every one of their sketches has measurements. And I'm not gonna say I'm lazy, but I appreciate it because if I want to change something up, I can. So like for this mat piece, instead of having it be a 1/4 of an inch mat, I decided to make it only 1/8 of an inch. So I think the pattern paper is like 3 3/4 by, let's say, 5 inches. So I made the mat 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 instead of making it 5 1/4. I did 5 1/8. I just didn't do the whole 1/4 inch. But I can make that decision because I see what they've already put, you know, in their measurements. And then if I want to keep it exactly, I can do it exactly too. That's the best part about these sketches, okay? They really are a great jumping off point. And, you know, if you're stuck and you want to make a quick card, and you want it to be more pattern paper based, yeah, definitely look into card sketches, because I have a lot of pattern paper, and I was like, there's got to be a way to use up the pattern paper. And it kind of, you can get away from stamping. I just like to add stamping in with it because you can. But I also like the idea that I get to use up pattern paper. All right. So now, I don't know why I went all the way up there, but we're going to go. I don't know why I thought it had to be lower. It was up higher. Now that I look at the sketch. And this is what helps. I'm telling you. Sometimes when you see me playing like off the screen with something, a lot of times it's either my computer screen or my phone where I'm trying to get the sketch up so I can remember what it looks like. Had I had the sketch up, I would have realized that's why it's not laying the way that you're thinking in your head. I put it down too far. Duh. Oh, this is so funny. And I love leaving all this in because you guys, you know, let's keep it real. Sometimes mistakes happen. Sometimes, you know, you just have to make the whatever happened into a happy accident and make it work. So I try to keep all that in. So now I'm trying to find my mat piece to go with the sentiment that I want to use. And it's still not out. And then I grab this one and I'm like, wait, this might be it. Nope, too long. There we go. All right. And then I was trying to put it, because I just have some twine that I wrapped around my loose pieces. And I was trying to put the pieces back in, and then I gave up and just was like, you know what, let me just put it in my baggie for now. That's a project for another day. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attach our sentiment. And then I'm going to do some foam squares. I'm going to cut them down and put them on the sentiment itself to give it a little bit of dimension. I'm just trying to figure out. I was looking for my roll of foam. It's so small now, I lose it very easily. And then I just decided to grab some foam squares and trim them down. That'll work too. And these are the squares that I got from Tailored Expression. It's on a roll, and they've already been individually cut into squares, which is like genius. But I'm just trimming that one square in half and then putting it on the sentiment. And the backings are really easy to pull off. which is really nice. Okay. And then we're going to line this up and put it right at the bottom. Now, I have my Black Nuvo drops. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I stop using these, I do use this off camera first and on a scrap piece of paper, because inevitably there is a bubble in there and it shoots out and it's not a pretty sight, and you do not want it to do that on your project. Okay, so always have a test piece of paper to work your Nuvo drops before you bring it to your project. And then the paper that we used was from that Cocoa Vanilla, the Daydream Collection, the 6x8 pad. And I'm going to keep using it. I'm telling you, I'm in the mood. This is speaking to me. So we're going to have some more fun. Here are the close-ups of the cards for this week. And thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And I'll have at the end links to previous card sketches. As you can see, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. You know, as life would have it, you fall into little different ruts, and I needed a little break. And you know, with COVID and everything going on nowadays, it's just, you know, you also have to take a mental break sometimes, you know. So thank you guys again, and make sure you have a great weekend.